Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Dentistry Beyond the Numbers. I'm your host, Dr. Marc Liechtung. Boy, what a year. What a year. I want to take a moment, and instead of featuring a great doc or a great leader of our profession, I want to step back and reflect on an incredible season for me. I want to share some of the highlights I went through. I want to give you a little bit of a sneak peek of what we're doing ahead. This past year has been a whirlwind for me, from trade shows to university lectures, from legendary interviews with guests that I can only read and think about, and even a Denobi Award mention headed by Melissa Turner was such a gas. I had a great time. But none of this would have meant anything without you, the listeners, who've been with us, I don't know why, every step of my way. So we've been working hard. So stick around. We got some big milestones to celebrate. A few stories to tell along this year. It's going to be fun. A preview of what's next for dentistry beyond the numbers. Also, I want you to make sure to follow me, like, and subscribe whenever you can in any platform, because I'm learning slowly, but I'm learning that that keeps us going. That gets me better guests. But people are coming. We've got a great roster. People are wanting to be on Dentistry Beyond the Numbers. And remember, we want to make sure that you understand that I'm a dentist by training. I believe the greatest growth is by growing our clinicians. That's what this is all about. Understanding numbers and everything about it. A lot of you have not subscribed yet. And I understand, because I don't subscribe to things I watch, listen, and learn. But I'm asking you listeners to subscribe. It helps. It gives me motivation. I hear some comments. I see people at the shows. But before we dive into a season recap, I want to share something interesting. That it's amazing how many people come up to me in these shows and tell me how much they enjoyed my podcast. Or some future vendors tell me they did. But the subscribers would help. So give me a positive subscription and let's move on, okay? A review is always helpful. But what's most helpful for me is a clinician, a doctor, reaching out, sending me a question, giving me what you think, telling me value yes, value no, because I think it would be awesome. And if you're finding what we're doing is valuable, that's the easiest way to support me. So give it a great shot and help me out with that, because I really like to get feedback. I'm a need to know guy. All right. So anyway, what was this season like? So I got motivated by a couple of dear friends to start a podcast. And I'd like to talk about some of the accomplishments that I've done, not to brag, not to boast, but to let you know what we're doing and what we're doing over and over and again. I want to have thousands of followers. I want to grow this podcast for knowledge. Nominated at the Denobi Award, spoke at the Chicago Midwinter. I was at the New York meeting giving lectures. Greatest feeling was meeting some of the people. National Teledentistry and Mobile Dentistry Conference. What an interesting conference. Helping people that can't help themselves get to the dentist, or they're so bedridden or infirmed, but they are out there amazing and they want to know things. Speaking at universities such as Lincoln Memorial. You know, Lincoln Memorial reminds me of some of the New York schools. They're really motivated kids. It's a great technologically advanced school, and it is growing. Last couple of months, I was lucky enough to speak at Orthobrain. That was a great show. It really was. And led by Dr. Dan Gurman and Richard Uria and that team, they were phenomenal. It was a great couple of days and very, very educational. But a couple of weeks ago, I landed in Fort Lauderdale at the Lentau Supercharge. That was, I must say, to Len's credit, I was on the phone with a doctor who I met there just Friday, and he said that was one of the better shows he's ever gone to, and he had me by a few years, so he's been in this field for over 40 years. So, I mean, it's been a great year doing these things. We couldn't have done it without the motivation and the constant tuning in and sharing of our listeners, whether it be people that work for me or people that never heard of me. I'm just seeing people and doctors and staff that are learning different things about the aspects of what we're talking about. What a great topic we had about cybersecurity. and the people helping insurance, financial. So he was great. I call them the legends. I mean, when you can sit down with a Gordon Christensen, a Howard Farran, a Kim Kutsch. I mean, if you don't know who these people are in front of us, and you young docs, I am asking you to please definitely get to know them. Speaking to Gordon Christensen, Dr. Christensen, who was a legend for me, before me, and for all of you young docs. He was probably the first super generalist that we ever saw, right? We spoke to him. I asked him when he started putting in implants. He was a prosthodontist. He became a surgical prosthodontist in the 60s. He was doing implants from his general dental practice or his restorative practice before dentists knew about super generalists or guided implants. Howard Farran, one of the really special interviews. I mean, what I walked away with Dr. Farran was he's a genius. He really is a smart man. And dentistry, as crazy as he's been, is so lucky to have him in this field because I look at everything he says and writes because he's got definitely a very unique, strategic, direct approach, and it's very enlightening. Another great one was Chuck Cohen. Chuck Cohen is one of the owners, the family that owns Benco. The perspective he had on the tariffs, the economy, dental practices in general by ordering different supplies, whether it be coming to the end of the year, how the tariffs affect implant companies, manufacturing companies. He just had it down. Talking about Bree Richardson, who's an insurance expert, and how I know and I see on a day-to-day basis that that's something that is going to be needed. The staff costs are going crazy. We need people who could take some of these things off our plate. But to speak to some marketing people, to speak to a Fred Joyal, I mean, you talk marketing and dentistry, 1-800-DENTIST developer. He's still out there. Just spoke at the oral surgery DOMS, the American Academy of Oral Surgery. And, he's out there. Listen, nobody is ahead of the game here than Len Tao. Dr. Len Tao started Bird Eye. Bird Eye is all about reputation management. Go back and listen to that one because that one was very unique in the sense that how important are reviews. The other night, I'm in New York City where I live, and I'm going up the block, and my wife and I are just deciding where to eat. Well, we pull up a 4.8 and a 4.6. My wife immediately ordered from the 4.8. Reviews are important. They're important because people will make decisions off of reviews. May not come in, but they may make a decision between you and somebody else for that big case. If you missed any of the episodes with these people, and there were more, and I'm sorry I can't remember them, Sam Glick, a young super generalist that is killing it with implants and clear aligners. He's an Orthobrain guru. We're going to have him on down the road, and we'll get back to that with him and his dad because what a great story. What a great business they're building. And I got to tell you, there were really some great gems going along and meeting people that are just cream of the crop. People out there that are really great lecturers, really got a pulse on the ability to move practices. And inventors like Dr. Dan Gurman from Orthobrain, who created a product that is just orthodontically driven. And I can't think of anything better. Excited, passionate, that's what we need. So, this podcast thing started way back at ADA SmileCon, and it started taking off. So, I really took from that role when I remember I was on the stage with Amber Auger, one of these super hygienists. I remember just really gravitating to hearing how many people knew so many things about our field and wanted to share that. And I wanted to do the same thing. I want to revisit the Dental Hamsa that I talk about all the time. And I put it into action. Every one of my docs that work in one of my practices, and there's several offices, they understand the 5 concepts of the Hamsa. Because even today, as I talk to a doctor who has been with me for many, many years, obviously people like to do implants. But I asked them, there's so much to structure. It's not a question that if you do the implant, but you have to refer out the root. In my world, you got to do it both. So he quickly changes gears does an endo, little bone crown lengthening, and puts a temporary on. The ability to do super general work will be booming in the future. Implants, surgery, full mouth, these are going to be learned exercises, learned profession, and we are going to be a better profession for it. We're going to dive deeper into that. And, one of the things I truly believe that people overlook on the Hamsa is the career and the fulfilling career that I'm trying to establish for all my docs. I want all my docs to buy themselves great watches. I want all my docs to be great providers for their family. And I want all the docs to go to work and almost skip when they have a great day because they feel it's so enjoyable. That's what this is about. It's doing amazing dentistry. Not just doing amazing dentistry, but also building that personal life, that work-life balance. Make sure you are subscribed to us so you don't miss these conversations, because this is what it's about for me. It's all the above. Become a great professional, become a great father, dad, husband, wife, whatever you want, lover, partner, be the best you can be, and embark that on your patients, because it's amazing what can happen. Another thing I did want to bring up is that, a very exciting year for me. I helped build some practices, and I'm constantly working on building those offices. I've built some doctors' production to incredible lengths, and people that have gone to trust me and what I'm delivering for them, and to be able to sell those cases, to appeal to the patient and implore to the patient the need-based need for those treatments, need to take out those teeth. Remember, you need to know what happens after you tell them everything, and we covered this in a podcast, everything you want to tell that patient. The second thing you do is tell them what happens if they don't do it. And that's where we need to get great. We need to get somewhat imaginable, but always honest. So these are things that just, to me, make us better and better and better. Apex Labs is coming, and I've been saying this, but they're coming out with these Snap-on smiles. So we will be showcasing a Snap-on smile and my journey probably in the next 1 or 2 episodes. We have a great list of people coming, from a father-son, Dr. Sam Glick, who is with us, to leaders of different companies, to doctors that are running big practices at an early age. What I'm looking to do is show you. When a doctor comes to me 2 years ago and says to me that he needs to make money, and now he tells me how he thinks God just showed him the way to us, because he is making a lot of money, and a lot more than he thought at the age of 29, 30. These things work. You don't learn anything by not listening. Your support brings us world-class guests and keeps the conversation going. I'm not doing this because I have a package to sell you. There'll be sales. There'll be, we want to keep it going. But these bonus clips, these things that you could see and go back to about Dr. Christensen, about the cybersecurity, insurances, Gary Bird in marketing. Look at these. Tim McGraw in finance. This is a slew of things that you could do and learn, and then pick us up. We're going to be the second season of a Yellowstone. We're gonna be there, and I want you to just keep following, because thank God I've been traveling, and I've been meeting some really great dental leaders in the dental community. The dental community is incredible. When you're doing dentistry, you're just a clinician. You come, you're really in awe, you see it. But when you see this time and time again, the after show, there's a whole community that really comes to the shows and the continue ads and from different companies, and they're all friendly, and it's kind of nice, but they all have one thing in common. Yes, to sell, but to educate. And all the vendors, I keep saying, are just trying to educate so they have the best product. But we're just getting started. The upcoming season is going to be great, and I don't want you to miss it. So make sure you follow me. And I must say, this is pretty much of an exciting time, as we're looking forward to some great maybe Snap-on Smile, the growth of the Hamsa. But what I really want to do is explain to my listeners through the time of how it really is and the most important things that I found, whether it be marketing, clinical, but I'm not a marketer, but I use the things that have worked for me because I believe you cannot substitute certain things. And marketing today is a sludge. It's just a slog. You're getting in the mud. Every vendor is telling you they could do something different, and we end up with the same line. You want more? You got to spend more. But you told me that that budget was good. Yeah, well, it's no good anymore. So together, we're going to build just more of a podcast. We're building sort of a movement that looks at dentistry beyond the numbers. And this is what I believe. I believe that it starts from within out. Like I always say, you could spend $100,000 a month on marketing. If that doctor has 10 thumbs, you're going to be losing $100,000 in marketing. So I just wanted to give you an update. I'm looking forward to seeing some more leaders, some more CEOs, some more guys and gals that have committed themselves to dentistry and the craft. And to me, that's very exciting. So look for us. It'll be fantastic as we bring in more new, exciting ways for you to learn how to kill this profession, how to be a king in your community, how to be a queen at your church and synagogue, and walk with pride because you're delivering great dentistry in a great setting with a great team. It all comes together. Thank you again, and I'll see you on Dentistry Beyond the Numbers. Thank you.